Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mangs, and today I am going to show you guys an Advanced Wars game that went so catastrophically wrong that the only recourse I had to even have a chance to get back in this game was to build missiles. Yes, you heard me right. Missiles, the most memed unit in Advanced Wars, was the only savior available to me. It was missiles or nothing. And it wasn't just build the missiles, it was get the missiles into the proper position, which is not easy because missile is the slowest unit in the game. Well, I guess aside from like mechs. Slowest vehicle in the game, for sure. Well, actually, I guess it's as fast as a mega tank. It's actually slower because it moves on tires. So it is the slowest vehicle in the game. 4 move, tires, absolute dog water unit. And yet, it was the only thing that could save me. How did I get myself into such a situation to begin with? Well, obviously there was a lot of misplays involved, all of which I'm going to show you. But I think this match ended up being very sensational for all the wrong reasons. So we're playing a Hope Forlorn here. Hope Forlorn, good old Hope Forlorn. You either love or hate this map. I'm not a big fan of it myself. Got a bit of Hope Forlorn fatigue. Mostly because I feel like most games just tend to go the same way, but this actually ended up being a very different Hope Forlorn match, and that's actually a very good thing. I'm picking Jess, it's a tier 4 match, my opponent is picking Cole. Cole is, I guess, an alright pick on Hope Forlorn. There are a lot of road tiles on this map. I still think Adder might be a better pick though, but I do see a lot of people go with Cole, and I don't necessarily blame them. I think some people are just tired of the monotony of going Adder all the time, and Cole, he feels different enough to the fact that it's a little bit of a different match. But I think in most maps, he doesn't end up feeling quite as good. I'd say he's better in high funds, but this is a standard matchup, so. And yeah, just in standard, I know that's not optimal either. So I guess we're both being a little suboptimal, but I don't know. I don't want another Adder mirror match on a Hope Forlorn. I'm so tired of that particular matchup, so. Yeah. It's a... You know, you guys know about Hope Forlorn already. It's like it's a map where you got like three sides where you fight on. You got 2 little engagements on the side here. You got a bunch of stuff in the middle, and usually who controls the middle in Hope Forlorn or who's good at controlling the mountains with artillery tends to have a big advantage here. There are a lot of like wacky openers you can do on this map. Airports are kind of sheltered off to the side here. You got a strong side, weak side base kind of thing where you have like 1 base here, 2 base here. So this is my weak side, this is my strong side, this is my opponent's weak side, this is my opponent's strong side. So usually Hope Forlorn devolves into either me pushing here, my opponent pushing here, or it just ends up being like a slugfest in the middle, which is more normal, I would like to say. HQs are in the center, but I wouldn't call them exposed. I rarely see HQ caps on Hope Forlorn. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to jump into this game, and I'm going to show you guys how horribly wrong it went. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. My opponent, at like blocks, don't know who this guy is, never faced him before. So, don't have any history with this person, don't know anything about him. I think we talked briefly in messages, but haven't faced him before, so I have no idea what I was going up against here. Always a bit of a gamble on the Global League. You can meet alts, you can meet any kinds of players, really. But yeah, I decided to open up Recon. I like Recons on Hope Forlorn. Weak side Recon maybe is not the best because it's very easy to counter with a tank, but you have this like long road here, so the Recon can get over here very quickly. I've also seen people open up Recon strong side, go down here, try to do some interrupting shenanigans. I don't know, I just figured I'd try something different. I wasn't really thinking much behind this. I just decided, oh, I have 4K, let's build a Recon, you know? Sometimes you don't really need to plan out your openers, you just do them, you know? So my opponent responds with a tank. Pretty standard. So this Recon's not going to be able to do a whole lot, but you'll see what I end up doing. So I move the Recon forward just to, like, you know, pressure him a little bit. He goes for the capture, moves in the tank, and I decide, since I'm Jess, I move forward with my infantry, move my tank out, and I decide to actually just attack here. Now, this is a roll. It can can get the infantry down to a 4, and that's kind of what I was hoping for here. With just his 10% innate firepower, there is a chance that his infantry could go down to 4. At least I think that's the case. Let me actually just double check that before I make a fool out of myself. Yeah, there is a good chance actually. So I low rolled that one. And getting the infantry down to 4 is a pretty big deal because that was like that means he captures the property in 3 turns instead of 2. And yeah, sure, he can attack me, but I'm on a city, so this recon will survive. So I'm okay with that. It also prevents him from capturing this city this turn. So not only am I delaying this city, but I'm also preventing the capture of this city. And I think that's worth taking a hit on the recon here. Now, I can pull the recon back for repairs too. And I can bring my tank up to kind of guard the recon. And if memory serves me well, that's exactly what I end up doing. Yeah, I pull the recon back to the forest. I attack the infantry, so now I've successfully interrupted 2 infantry. And I move my tank up to guard the recon. So if he moves in, I'll get a first strike on his tank. So I'd say this recon has more than done its job. It has actually been very effective. It has severely delayed my opponent's capture game in the center. And if he wants to strike the recon, he'll get struck by my tank because he doesn't have any tanks to follow it up with. So that's not something he probably will be interested in doing. And if he leaves it alone, I'll be able to pull it back for repairs and eventually bring it back into the front line. So pretty happy with my opener. I think it was a pretty solid opener as far as openers go. Really solid recon opener. Deej would be proud, hopefully. So yeah. My opponent builds a battlecopter. I have actually completely forsaken this airport in the corner here. As Jess, I don't really like building battlecopters to begin with. I know you can build them. I think in Fog, there's definitely some merit to building just battlecopters because you can take your opponent off guard sometimes. God knows I've been taken off guard by a few Drake battlecopters in Fog. But in Standard, it's like, I don't really like building battlecopters, so I tend to just not capture this airport for a little bit. It's basically just a city for me. So I don't really care that much about it. So I just focus on building tanks for the time being. And he actually just lets my recon go. So I'm actually pretty happy about that. I'm going to pull it back, repair it, and it'll come back ready to fight another day. And yeah, I was very feisty this game. I think so. The reason why I did this, interrupt this property on 1206, is because I have 2 tanks arriving. He built an APC, which is interesting. I mean, not really. Building APC on day 8 is... I'm not going to say there's no reason to do this, but I mean, I think this would have made more sense early on. So I'm okay with him attacking me here, because I have 2 tanks coming in. So I'll crush him here if he's not careful. He is moving in with the battlecopter, but I have an anti-air on the way. And he has to pull back here. And he does actually go on the city and attack me, but I think he low rolls. He hasn't captured his com tower yet, so it's a 6-7. 6-7! Oh my god, what a funny meme. And he's actually going mechs. Yeah, it's not something you see every day. Again, transports, I think they make more sense in Fog, where you can hide them. If you do them in Standard, it's basically just an invitation for your opponent to go super aggro. And as you can see right now, I have 3 tanks right now in this area. And my opponent now, I mean, what? He has a mech and an APC. So, I'm pretty confident about this game so far. I'm thinking this is probably going to be a pretty easy win, but if you've seen the title of the video, you probably know it's, not that easy. But mechs do have some value on Fort Forlorn, I'd say. I mean, putting them in a mountain like this is pretty strong. Coal mechs are also scary because they can suddenly move quicker. But I do think that the APC mech is a little bit of a slow play, especially against just vehicles. I just don't think it's really going to cut it. And also, one thing that I can do here, I'm not doing it, I think, but mechs are slow. So if your opponent is spamming mechs, just front shift your units away from them. Strike them in a location where the mechs are not. They can't follow. So, and I do think I am pulling back slightly here, but what I'm mostly focusing on right here is I'm just focusing my army in the center of the map as much as possible. And you can see right now, this is kind of like playing chess where you do a strong opener and you control the middle of the board. I now have the center of Hope Forlorn, and what this means is that my opponent is split in 2. And that's a very bad thing for him to be because, again, if you have the center, you can attack any which one side and your opponent will be forced to react to that. So I might be overbuilding anti-air a little bit here. 3 anti-air for 3 battlecopter. I think 2 anti-air are plenty. This game was played mostly live for the most part. Like, both of us were online at the same time, so there weren't a huge amount of time passing in between moves. I like the medium tank, actually. That's a good buy when I have 3 tanks in the vicinity. And, yeah, he's pushing forward with a bunch of infantry. But, yeah, I was, like, hyper-aggressive this game. I basically was in just brawling mode. I did not want another Stally Hope for Lord match. I would rather lose and take a few MMR points rather than have a boring stall match. I think this is probably my biggest weakness when it comes to Advanced Wars. I will do anything to avoid a stall. I hate stall games. And that includes playing ridiculously aggressive. But I felt good here because, again, because my opponent is doing this slow-ass mech APC opener, I have so much momentum in the center right here. Look at all the tanks I have. Like, this medium tank will eventually come and shut it down, but yeah, no, it's and he's pushing forward really relentlessly here with his mechs and infantry. But again, I have the center and my turbocharge is almost available. I think I might even get it this turn. Another medium tank. And my cities are kind of falling now. These 3 cities right here are completely undefended. I do have a small capture advantage at the moment because I'm focusing in the center. And I might get these 2 properties, but I'm going to lose these 3. So I do need to do something about that. But yeah, I decide to just, again, go balls to the walls. Just attack him. He's moving forward pretty recklessly. And I pop a mid-turn turbocharge to reach the battlecopter. Kind of contemplated attacking the battlecopter with this 2 HP anti-air, but I decided to pull it back instead. And yeah, I just go full on balls to the walls aggression. Got a medium tank of my own right now. But my opponent's medium tanks are now in line, and he pops his Trail of Woo, which allows him to get some nice hits with his mechs right here. As you can see right here, road boosted mech. And he takes out my anti-air too, which is actually pretty well done. All 3 of my anti-air are damaged right now. Which is going to allow his battlecopters to... It's a very strong Trail of Woe, actually. I was kind of taken aback by how strong this was. I did not expect him to do this much damage to me. So you can see he's just kind of mopping me up in the center, and he builds a Neo-Tank. And I was like, oh, damn. You know, I felt pretty good up until this point. Now I'm losing three properties, and I'm getting absolutely crushed in the center right here. At least I have a medium tank of my own, with another one on the way. And I'm able to inflict quite a lot of damage on his infantry balls, so he's not really able to capitalize with any captures in this area. But it's an absolute slugfest right now. It's just an all-out brawl. I am very sad about losing these 3 buildings, though. I am sending some units down to deal with it, but he's going to get them. And that does suck a little bit. Day 14, I still have a big capture lead, but that goes away, and now he's actually ahead by 2 properties. This APC is actually getting some decent mileage out of him. He's transporting a lot of mechs to the front line. And these battlecopters, there's very little I can do about them. I have my anti-air repairing on properties, so he does need to be a little careful. I say once an anti-air is like above 4 HP, it starts being threatening again. A 3 HP anti-air doesn't do much, but a 4 to 5 HP anti-air can definitely take out a battlecopter. But sadly, you know, I'm going to be able, or sadly for him, I should say, I'm going to be able to take these buildings back pretty quickly. So he doesn't actually have a lot here. He's focusing most of his stuff here. He does have a terrifying force, though. Two medium tanks and a Neo tank. So I have to be very careful with my anti-air. I have to pull back as well. But I still try to do as much damage to his infantry as I can, because I don't want him to take the city. But yeah, day 15 rolls in. He suddenly decides to focus on artillery. I mean, don't get me wrong, artillery are great on Hopeful Horn. There are a lot of good spots to have them in. But I think building them on day 15 is a little too late. If you want to go artillery, you should probably have it early on. So pivoting into double artillery, I don't know how smart that is. But as day 15 rolls in, now I'm going to start taking back these cities right here. And again, this is just a free pickup with the anti-air right here. And boom, I am now starting to get back some of the cities that I lost. I have to pull back here, though, because this is a scary force right here. Neo tank, double got battlecopter. I have to build an anti-air. Luckily, though, he was unable to destroy my 2 anti earlier, so they're about to heal up next turn, and they're going to be able to rejoin the fray. Hopefully, they'll be able to do something about those battlecopters. So, you may be asking, Mangs, you promised missiles. Where are the missiles? Patience, patience. We're getting there. I want you to really look at the map right now, and like, because I certainly didn't recognize it at the time, but my opponent has a scary play coming up, and it's looming closer. And it's not something that I even thought about going into this matchup. Maybe you can see it. Can you see the threat? It's not quite there yet, but it's starting to get there, right? In comes the battlecopter, and he's pushing on this side, which makes sense. He has artillery backup and everything. I can attack the medium tank, or I can attack the artillery. I can kill 1 artillery, but then I lose the medium tank, so probably not a good idea to do that. I'm content to take back these cities, though, but I have to pull back heavily here because he's pressuring me. He's pressuring me very, very hard. And I build a neo-tank just to stall the advance a little bit. Again, if he gets these artillery in range of my base, it's GG, so have to be careful I don't get checkmated. Continues to get a lot of useful out of this APC. You know, I made fun of him for buying it, but looking at it right now, I actually think it served him pretty well. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you see the dangerous move right now? Do you see the danger? Because right now, this is a terrifying situation for me to be in. And there is one correct response to it, which I did not do. Just look at the map. What is dangerous here? What is dangerous? It requires you to know some trivia about Hope Forlorn and how it works. All right? There is a correct move for me to do here that I did not do. And the correct move was buying a battlecopter. That's what I needed to do right now. But instead, I base skip Neotank. And this is really, really, really bad. Boom! Airport blocked. And if you know anything about Hope Forlorn, what unit is available? That's right, Stealth Fighter. Hope Forlorn is one of those weird standard maps where Stealth Fighters are allowed. Almost never see this unit in standard games, but it is allowed here. And with the airport being surrounded by mountains, there is now absolutely no way for me to dislodge this battlecopter. And what does my opponent do? Instantly capitalizes Stealth Fighter. Now this little shit will not die. Once it enters stealth, it cannot be targeted by anything other than fighters and other stealth fighters. Neither of which I can build because my airport is blocked. So even though that is a pretty even game for the time being, this stealth fighter will just continue to rack up kills. Of course, they do have a major weakness in that they run out of fuel very quickly, but he has his APC. So I'm actually thinking he probably planned to build a stealth fighter from the start. That may be why he decided to open up APC. So I remember sending him a message like, oh wow, I think you just won. But I decided to keep going. Because there is one unit that can get me out of this predicament. And that is, of course, the trusty missile. However, I need to get this missile into this forests. It's the only way I can actually succeed here. And the problem is the missile does not get into the forest in one turn because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the forest costs 3 move for tires. So I'll need a power if I want to get it in there. And furthermore, look at all the units he has around this base. This is pretty bad for me. But I have to pull back immediately. Now, luckily, because I still control the center and Hope Forlorn, this means that I can front ship my entire army up here. So I have basically one shot at this. I have to destroy his army, get my missiles in, and get a fighter out. Because every turn he can build a new stealth fighter, and every stealth fighter that comes out of the field is just more trouble for me. So he hides it. I can't see where it is now. And he goes hard. He charges in immediately. He recognizes that the army is on its move, and he is not willing to wait around at all. But I think in his desire to charge, I think he may have played a little bit too recklessly. So I decide that it's time to go. Or do I, actually? Yeah, okay. I didn't see it there, but I did pop my power. I think I just skipped over it. There we go, yeah. So I pop my power so that I can front shift faster, and now it's just get those units over here immediately. I don't even care about putting my medium tanks in range. All I care about is just rushing up here as quickly as I can. And I do actually get some very good hits on his artillery. As I said, he charged forward a little bit too recklessly here. And I'm actually able to get my missile in position. And I even build a mega tank because I realized that I just need to do whatever I can to protect this area now. But it does give my opponent his superpower. And here comes the stealth fighter. Doesn't quite one-shot the infantry, but boom, he gets my missile. He gets my missile. And yeah, I was really expecting him to build another stealth fighter, but he didn't for whatever reason. And he wisely pulls his APC back because this thing's not going to last long. I was very surprised to not see him go another stealth fighter. I think maybe at this point, I understand I'm winning the vehicle fight, but at this point, I would just really commit to the stealth fighters because he can... I mean, he just took out my missiles, so that's at least 3 more turns until I get a unit in position here to shoot down the battlecopter. So I think he kind of blundered here, not going for a second stealth fighter. They are a victory condition at this point. If he gets a stealth fighter up here, it's GG. You know, like, you just get it over here as soon as possible. I, of course, build another missile because it's the only way that I can win this match. Now, I am winning, actually. I am crushing him in the vehicle count. But none of that will matter if he gets a stealth fighter up here ASAP. So, day 21 rolls in. And I target fires my anti-air. I guess that's fine. And he attacks. He kills another medium tank. And here he makes a big blunder. He moves his APC forward. A big mistake. I still have vehicles in the area. And not only that, I also have an overdrive. And I pop it. That allows me to get the missile in range. Mega tank comes in. I attack his battlecopter and artillery because I realize I got to get those things out of here immediately. And I also kill his APC. And that was probably his biggest mistake. That APC is the lifeline for the stealth fighter. I think that and not building more stealth fighters is really one of his big mistakes here, because I am kind of crushing him in the vehicle count, and now I actually have the missile in range to unblock my airport. He has to unstealth his fighter, otherwise it risks getting sunk next turn. And he also has to move his battlecopter away. He could have attacked my missile, but it would have still cost him the battlecopter. And now finally I get my fighter out. And yeah, now I've successfully turned this match around. But it looked real bleak there for a moment. Sadly, I think my opponent got a little too trigger happy. He didn't commit enough to the stealth fighter cheese. I think if he had just continuously pumped out, I think he had a very easy victory condition here. Just stealth the fighter, get it here, unstealth it maybe, and start going for the missiles. You know, it's kind of funny. This would have worked way better if he played Jess. Jess refuels her units whenever she pops her powers. So Jess stealth fighters can actually be very nasty. So yeah, he's again, the stealth fighter is now just a glorified battlecopter basically. Its days are numbered. The fighter will catch it. But the slugfest continues. I think we were both just really keen on brawling this turn. I'm even bringing my missiles along because why not, right? So, but he's also in a bit of a predicament because he doesn't have enough infantry to cap. I have a lot of infantry, and now I'm going to start capturing his properties. And instead of going for interrupts, he goes for vehicle fights, which I don't necessarily think is the best. I also don't know why he built 2 APCs here. Like, it's long past time for APCs at this point. But yeah, at this point, the match is pretty much over. My opponent kept playing for quite a while, but once I got this missile out, it was definitely GG. I mean, it's attacking my mega tank, which is kind of fun, I guess. But ultimately, you can see the unit count disparity is just too big. I get a second overdrive. And now his units are just going to start melting. Boom, 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 boom. It is GG. I think he keeps playing until day 32. So what we're going to do is we're just going to quickly go through the rest of the match right here. I like that you can make all units move at once with a click of a button. That's actually really cool. Really nice for games that stall out way longer than they should be. I don't know why my opponent kept playing for so long. He built a bomber. Maybe he just had fun. Maybe he just wanted to brawl a little bit. But I mean, this match was over the moment that fighter came out. So, don't want to bore you with it. Don't want to bore you with the cleanup phase. We're just quickly going to go through it super fast here. I was wondering if my opponent was going to resign at all, but he did in the end. So, yeah. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That was quite the match. I had a lot of fun with this one. A little bit of a silly game, not super high level or anything like that. I just thought it was kind of funny that a missile was all that stood between me and certain defeat. I think my opponent had a good chance of winning here if he had just been a little more proactive, been a little bit smarter with his own stealth fighter, and focused more on blocking my missiles. I think charging in with the vehicle, he should have probably just, there's actually one crucial part of the matchup that I kind of want to go back to. So, I think when he took out my first missile, I want to go back to that, because that was a big part of this matchup, right? This turn right here, I think what he should have done is popped his power, and then he should have just taken out the missile and then pull back, I think. Take out the missile and then pull back with everything else. It's a scary situation because of all the vehicles there, so maybe he wouldn't have had a chance anyway. But I think continuing the attack here may not have been the best idea. Because he's just setting himself up for a shellacking next turn, so yeah. Just something to keep in mind. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this little game. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.